Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone that rule well, that taught us the truth, and blessings to the elect, whether they be scattered. This is Brother Yakal, coming with another lesson, and Lord willing, this will be edifying to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And that's a good title for this lesson, man. You know, the Bible calls us the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And in this lesson, you're gonna see how lost our people are. All right. In particular, our people in America who call themselves black conservatives. All right. And let me say this: black conservative is just basically a homeborn slave for the white man. You know, they're basically blacks that work not even undercover for white supremacy, more or less, man. You know, the black conservative is out of his mind and her mind, and you're gonna see it in this lesson that I'm gonna show you. We're gonna go through some clips of some debates, all right, about the oppression that we have. Now, if you look on the screen, it says, and I've heard of this woman before, Amanda Seals. The video that I saw of her was about her talking about relationships, and she basically, you know, regretting how she treated men in the past, and she's lonely and all this madness, you know. She might have not said it out of her mouth, but she more or less was talking about old relationships and how she regretted how she behaved, you know. And that's because she's probably lonely now, man, because no man don't want her. A lot of you black women are experiencing that now. There was a video of these black women doing speed dating, all right, and they invited men there, and not one man came, you know, because they're tired of your undeniable wicked attitude. Okay, now I give her this, that she's one of these black women that are anti the so-called white man, which is a good thing, you know. And that's why this video is entitled "One Black Radical versus 20 Black Conservatives," and you're gonna see the absolute madness that comes out of their mouth. And this is all a part of the oppression that we're going through. All right. Remember, Yahushua said, "Oh Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killed the prophets." Who was his enemies? His enemies were mainly Israelites, man. All right. Yes, the Roman authorities, but look at Pontius Pilate. Why do you think he washed his hands? You know, he's like, listen, you know, his judgment is not on my hands. You know, who wanted Yahushua dead? It was Israelites, man. All right, wicked Israelites, and they're back on the earth today, and many of them are black conservatives, man. All right, and this shows you that the oppression that we've gone through is like none other than any other race on the planet Earth, man. All right, and we can start with that. I think that's in Daniel, is it? All right, in Daniel 9 and 12, and he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us. All right, by bringing upon us a great evil. And what was that great evil? Slavery, colonialism. All right. Okay. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. All right. And who's Jerusalem? The 12 tribes of Israel. So this scripture is telling you that no other nation on the planet Earth has suffered more than the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. So let's just get that scripture out straight. But according to these conservatives, you know, they don't have that, man. Now, before we go into these videos, this is something I want you to see. And this is the wickedness that comes out of the oppressor's mouth. Because if you look at a lot of these cracker celebrities, they've always got Israelite or Hamite children that they've adopted. And one of them is this bitch called Jillian Michaels, man. All right, and she's talking about, and I agree with, you know, certain things that she says. about black degeneracy, and that's in the scriptures. Our people have degenerated as a people, you know. But I just want you to look at what she said, and what she said and what these Edomites say about our oppression is in the Bible anyway. We're going to show you that. Let's go back here. All right. Look at the state of her, man. Oh my goodness.
If you're obsessed about food.
All right, let's go.
Wish I was wrong about the lineage of evil. There are times where I'm like, yo, you know what? It's not actually a lineage. They're just, a group of people who are just sadly mistaken. They got a bad bunch of, history, and we need to correct them. And then every single time, I'm proven right, bruh. Take, for example, Jillian Michaels, okay? I did a video of her talking about how she was trying to downplay slavery with her bullcrap statistic of only 2% of white people own slaves.
And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you
anti-slavery,
let's talk about the fact
that slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans own slaves?
Are you retarded? And that statistic is a bold-faced lie. I go on to say why it's a bold-faced lie, how they try to take into account the slaves in that population. They take into account the North, and that's what they do. The statistics are deceptive. It's always deceptive in their favor. And the fact that she's now doubling down on that, because that's what she's doing, she's not only doubling down on that bullcrap statistic, but now she's blaming black people for white supremacy.
Come on now, dawg.
I kid you not, I could not believe it when I heard it, because this is a new step forward for the white ignorance. I will give you all that, because this is a new one. You're now blaming black people for your wickedness. And this is something I've said before, this is what they excel at. They excel at deflection. One thing you will find that is just ubiquitous in this country, especially among the ignorants, is a lack of accountability. They can never take accountability for anything. And we see this throughout the revisionist history. When it comes to slavery, what they want to do is have their cake and eat it too. They want to enslave you, but also, hey, get a pat on the back for, ending slavery. They want to do Jim Crow, but then also get a pat on the back for ending Jim Crow. They want to do segregation. They want to do redlining, but also get a pat on the back for ending all of that. And it's tantamount to an abusive relationship. That's what we are right now as black Americans in this country. We are in an abusive relationship with the United States of America, because it's like the abusive partner who's beating on somebody, right? Beating on them, and then they stop and they look at you like, hello? And you're just like, what is it? And they're like, well, are you going to give me credit? I stopped attacking you. That's the type of mindset that these ignorants have.
And what he's saying is spot on, man. Absolutely spot on. That's why the black conservatives, you're gonna be taken out very quick when Yahweh Shem Yashai judges our people, man. You're gonna be taken out very quick, man. All right. I mean, what he said was is spot on, and they do that here in England. They say, first of all, it was the English that started slavery, all right, but then the abolishment of slavery happened, and it was led by the British. And the reason why the British did that, because they couldn't make money anymore, all right. One of the big problems they had is piracy in that time, all right, and everything got more expensive. So you have like slave ships, and then you have to insure it. You have to insure the cargo, because we were cargo, man. All right. We were looked at as animals and a commodity. Okay. So those insurance payments went up. The more piracy they had on, the Atlantic strip, all right, the less money they made. All right. So that's why they stopped slavery, because they couldn't make money off it anymore. It wasn't economically viable for them. So they said, listen, let's concentrate on our new venture, which is capitalism. All right. Use these niggers as cheap labor to produce, all these products and we can export them. That's called the Industrial Revolution. All right. But what he said is absolutely true. And that's what in the Psalms it speaks about this devil and how he speaks about the oppression that he's done to us. He's the one that primarily has destroyed us, man. All right. The Lord has used him as a vessel on the left-hand side to punish his people, But this devil has taken it too far. This is Psalm 73 and 8. They are corrupt, and that's you Edomites, so-called white people, and speak wickedly, all right? And remember who the wicked are, who's the wicked? Esau, man. And Esau was the progenitor of a race called Edomites, who are the so-called white people today. So they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Yeah, good example. Slavery was a long time ago. Get over it. Oh, you be quiet about slavery. You sold your own people, which is another lie. All right, absolute lie. No, we're Israelites, and the people that were rounding us up are Hamites, man. All right. There's a good video on YouTube, and I saved it in my favorites. And basically, it was entitled "The Hausas Sold Us." Now, the Hausa tribe is a tribe in Nigeria. All right. Now, as far as I know, all right, there must be Israelites among them, but as far as the research that I know, the majority of them are Hamites, man. And that video confirmed it, because the title of the video, when you watch it, all right, they had a historian saying that the Hausas were the main ones that were rounding up the Igbo and the Yoruba, all right, and send them to the British. Yeah, because they're Hamites. We are Israelites. We're from Noah's son Shem. They're Hamites. They're from Noah's son Ham. Two different people, but we both have the same kind of skin complexion. All right. Remember, every race on the planet Earth has melanin, except the so-called white man. Okay. So he speaks wickedly when concerning oppression, man. All right. But sadly, he's got a big army of followers, and that's you black conservatives. And the great thing about this judgment coming, you're going to be taken out very quickly, man. All right. Very quickly. Very quickly. The Lord is going to get rid of you nice and quickly, man. It's Zechariah 13 and 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, and that land is talking about America, Babylon the Great, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. All right. So that's what 66% of our people in America are going to get put to death. All right. And the majority of them is going to be you black conservatives. And we're going to give you good examples, man. All right. When we play these clips, these coons that this woman had to face, man. And that shows you that this oppression has completely destroyed the self-confidence of our people. All right. So I'm going to skip around a bit, but we're going to have this interaction with this black radical versus 20 black coconuts, man. And I'm not saying that all of them are coconuts, but the majority of them are, man. The majority of them are, and you're going to see evidence of this when we watch these clips. All right, let's go.
It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where.
There you go. See, again, at the heart of their argument is, at the end, he said some good points, but at the end, he said, how are whites the oppressors? You see? So basically, when you meet an Israelite, or let's not call it Israelite, black people like this, don't give them any oxygen. Their energy is, they are vessels for white supremacy. That's all they are, man. They're vessels for white supremacy. They're slaves for white supremacy, you know? And the reason why is because the white man is in power. And the so-called black man, Hispanic, Native American man, has no power in the society because we're still under these curses. So rather than fight them, they have the mentality of, if you can't beat them, join them. Alright? And that's why they're black conservatives. And that's why the Lord has to put them to death. Alright? Because they're not down for the liberation. They're not down with their God. They're not down with the liberation of their own people. They're not they don't even care about the liberation of their own soul. You know, that's how far gone they are. You heard what he just said. And at the end he said, how are whites the oppressors? Why did you have to mention them? You know? This is Proverbs 12 and 26. The righteous, which is us Israelites, the elect, is more excellent than his neighbor. But the way of the wicked seduceth them. Alright? So the white man is thriving in this society. You know why? Because he built this wicked society. It's his society. He can change laws when he wants. He can say one thing and do another because it's his kingdom. That's what a lot of you dumb blacks don't understand. Alright? Is that he owns you still, man. Alright? We are still slaves under him, man. And he treats us as such. You know? But rather than fight that, this guy is saying, how are whites the enemy? You know? It's sad, man. You know? Let's keep going. Let me get back to it.
Where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie all the time. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. What? No one here is in.
Are you
being
acting
impinged on
right now?
anything.
Do you really believe
I'm telling
this?
the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them.
Wow. See, when you probably started watching this, you're like, hang on, you know, he must be a bit harsh about black conservatives. I'm showing you the proof of the pudding, man. I'm showing you the proof of the pudding. They're slaves, man. They're slaves for their master, all right? And it's prophecy in the Bible. Jeremiah 2 and 14. All right, it says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Question mark. So the Lord is actually asking this question about you black conservatives. He's asking you, he's asking you, are you a servant? Are you a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? And spoil means to take what you have. And that's what the white man did. He took our language, our culture, our heritage away from us. He's whitewashed history. You know, how many blacks in America, right? How many blacks in America know? How many blacks in America know that 30% of the slaves in America came from Europe? How many of them know that? How many of them know that? Alright? If you put when blacks ruled in Europe, let's see what comes up. Alright? And look what the Google AI does. See, that's how you have to always qualify things. Look, blacks did not rule all of Europe. Yes, they did. But the Moors, and the Moors were Israelites, you dummy, a diverse group of Arabs, Berbers, and West Africans, all right, from the North African conquest and ruled the Iberian Peninsula, which is today Spain and Portugal, all right, from modern day Spain and Portugal from 711 to 1492. And by the way, those Moors, yes, many of them were Berbers, many of them were Arabs, but the majority of them were Israelites, man. Israelites who embraced the religion of Islam. All right, so they ruled the Iberian Peninsula. All right, and on the other side of Europe, the western part of the rest of it was our people ruling. All right, Europe in the Middle Ages was a complete domination, all right, of Israelite society. Okay, I mean, look at the pictures here. You know, now these people did not just vanish and disappear, did they? No, two things happened to them: a pandemic in the 1300s and wars that they lost. And when they lost these wars, they were deported to the colonies as slaves from their own lands that they ruled. And the only reason why whites could defeat us is because our population in Europe after the Black Death, all right, became very low. Okay, look, Jake's ruling over crackers. Okay, here's a picture of the Habsburgs, royal family in Germany. You go to Germany right now and you tell them, look, you know, the Habsburgs, they were all black. They won't believe you unless you show them these pictures on the phone. Okay, so yes, we did rule Europe. So Google, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, and that's in the scriptures. It's in Revelations. All right, Revelations 20 verse 1 to 3. Rule in the bottomless pit. How many of you black conservatives actually know this history? None of you probably do, man. And if you tell them, they don't even care anyway. Okay, that's why the Lord said, my people are destroyed, all right, for a lack of knowledge. Let's get that, man. All right, and that lack of knowledge is what produces a black conservative, man. You know, here it is, you got this debate going on, and this nigger is talking about white people are racially oppressed more than us. You got to be out of your mind to say something like that, man. Hosea 4 and 6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. All right, a lack of knowledge of what? Of who they are, their history. All right, and that was done purposely, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I also reject thee, that thou be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I also forget thy children. And that's the reason why many of the youth, all right, who are Israelites, whether they're in Mexico or West Africa or West Indies or America, you're getting shot, shanked, stabbed, you know, in record numbers, man.